Eagles a chance to get on a roll before the start of ACC play, but the toughest home test to date comes tonight. Providence sits just outside the top 25 with one loss, and that was at number 1 Kentucky. An NCAA tourney team last year. Hopes are high in Friartown for a return trip. It is a Friday night in Boston, and we're ready for a great New England rivalry, part of Jimmy V Week. From Connie Forum on the campus of Boston College, the Providence College Friars are set to take on the Boston College Eagles. And it is great to have you with us alongside former BC Eagle Malcolm Huckabee and Miami Heat guard. I'm Eric Freed. You played in this rivalry. You know what it's all about. What can we expect here tonight?
Well, for 4 years, I did battle against Providence College. They had some great players, Dickie Simpkins, Michael Smith. Throw all the records out the window. This is an important game. It's going to be physical, tightly contested. I expect a good one tonight, Eric.
A guy who is a worthy heir to those great Providence teams and linked to those great players of the past is LaDontae Henton, one of the very best players in the Big East.
When I asked Ed Cooley about LaDontae Henton, he describes him with one word: leader. Averaging 21 points a game, leads the Big East, shoots a high percentage. He is a matchup nightmare, had 38 points against Notre Dame in Mohegan Sun. Boston College is going to have their hands full trying to keep this guy under control. And
one of the very best players in the ACC is BC's Olivier Hanlon.
Well, Boston College is going to go as far as Olivier Hanlon takes him. 17 points a game, and he's coming off a 9-assist performance against Marist. He needs some help, and he got that in the last game against Marist. But Olivier Hanlon, an outstanding player in his own right.
Providence comes in with a record of 6-1. Their starting five: Chris Dunn, Kyron Cartwright, LaDontae Henton, Tyler Harris, and Carson DeRozers. 2 seniors, a junior, a sophomore, and a freshman. For Boston College, 2 grad students, a senior, 2 juniors in their starting five. Dimitri Batten getting his second consecutive start. Hanlon, Aaron Brown, Patrick Heckman, and Dennis Clifford. 109th meeting all time between the Friars and the Eagles. Ed Cooley in his 4th season as Providence head coach, leading them to a Big East championship and a trip to the NCAA tournament last year. Jim Christian in his 1st year as BC's head coach, spent the last 2 years at Ohio, picking up 49 wins. Named BC's head coach on the 3rd of April. We are ready. Good crowd filling in here. Be split between Providence and BC fans, as you can imagine. Roger Ayers, Carl Hess, Michael Roberts, our officiating crew, and we are underway here at Connie Forum. Providence in their road black. Cartwright.
Eric, Boston College comes out and man-to-man. The matchup we're watching is this one right here. Chris Dunn against Olivier Hanlon.
DeRozier's good size, turning on the 7-footer Clifford. We'll keep an eye on that inside battle as well, as BC wants to push in transition, and Aaron Brown is fouled. Tyler Harris will pick up the personal.
Aaron Brown of Boston College coming off good performance last time out against Marist. 19 points, 3 of 6 shooting from the 3-point line, and we've been talking about Olivier Hanlon needing some help from other guys. It can't just be Olivier Hanlon scoring. Aaron Brown had a fantastic game last time out, and that's a good sign for Boston College.
Brown had a good game, leading the team in scoring against Marist on Monday. That was a victory for Boston College, 79-61 here at Connie Forum. LaDontae Henton. Harris shut off on the baseline. Rochers has pretty good range from the outside, but won't take it here. Made a couple of 3-pointers against Kentucky. That was the last game for Providence. DeRozier stopped once by Clifford, but not a second time.
That's good post position that time by DeRozier's, and nice entry pass by Dunn. Dennis Clifford's got to do a better job getting him out of the post. He's too deep that time. Every time he catches it there, he's going to score or he's going to have to foul him.
Brown works on Harris, but traveled. Boston College did a better job taking care of the basketball in the win against Marist, turning it over 9 times. That brought their season turnover average down to just inside of 16. Taking care of the basketball and shooting the basketball better. A couple of high priority items for Jim Christian. Now numbers the other way. 3-on-1 with Hanlon on the finish. Count it, and the foul.
Beautiful body control this time by Olivier Hanlon. Real speed right here, and good job adjusting his body. The Providence player was moving, and Olivier Hanlon was able to finish.
The foul on Cartwright, and Hanlon finishes the three-point play. Averaging 16 points a game. First foul on Cartwright. Hanlon's outside shot has not been there, 19%, but attacking the basket could be something we see a little bit more of here this evening. Cartwright skips it over Hinton. Off the mark, but an offensive rebound and a second chance here for Providence. Dunn, the good feed. And DeRochers with the finish and the foul.
Eric, that's twice now. Dunn has been able to feed the ball down low. That time off of a screen and roll. No help on the weak side, and Providence is going to have an and-one situation. That's a beautiful pass that time by Chris Dunn.
DeRocher finishes off the three-point play. He has all 5 Providence points. Dennis Clifford will head to the bench as Will McGarity comes on, the sophomore out of Stockholm, who's at 6'11", 240 pounds. He'll try to put a little resistance inside against DeRocher. Heckman. McGarity, the return to Hanlon. Nice finish by Hanlon, who got free from Dunn.
And we're seeing some nice ball movement. This time, Boston College, Olivier Hanlon with a nice little wheel cut. Dunn was late, and Hanlon starting off really well for Boston College.
Dunn, another feed inside to DeRochers. Lost the handle. It'll be Boston College basketball. Garland Owens will get into the game early here for the Eagles as Aaron Brown will sit down. And the 7'2" freshman Pascal Chukwu is on.
And that's just beautiful movement by Olivier Hanlon off of a little high wheel cut, and Dunn was late. Hanlon moving well without the basketball.
Hanlon has all 5 BC points. DeRochers has all 5 Providence points. Hanlon, three-pointer is good. A lot of confidence for that grad student who played at Old Dominion last year and for the last 3 years. Dimitri Batten, his first points coming off 17 on Monday against Marist. Harris, he knocks down a 3 of his own. Tyler Harris, 6 of 15 now from outside the three-point line. He's the number 2 scorer on this Providence team at 13 points a game.
And that's a breakdown by Boston College's defense that time. Garland Owens has got to close out. Tyler Harris shooting close to 36% from the three-point line. You can't have your hand down when you're closing out on him.
Hanlon, BC taking its time. Heckman, quick whip over to Garland Owens. Owens to the basket. Couldn't get it. McGarity is going to get called for the push. That will be team foul number 3 on BC, and another substitution put in by Jim Christian. It's John Kane Carney who comes on for Heckman.
Well, Owens not known as a three-point shooter. He's only taken 3 on the season, 1 of 3, 33%. I felt he passed that one up. He had a wide open look, decided to force it in to traffic.
Chris Dunn got it. Averaging better than 8 points a game, but maybe more importantly for this Providence team, almost 7 assists a game. He's done a great job of putting his teammates in a position to succeed. Chukwu came in, got a piece of it. No backcourt violation and no reset of the shot clock. Owens back for Hamlin. Jalen Lindsey into the game for Providence. There's John Kane Carney fighting for it against Dunn. Tie up, possession arrow, Boston College possession when we come back. Timeout on the floor, 15-18 to go here in our opening half. Providence and BC. Dimitri Batten getting on the score sheet. He has 3, answered by Tyler Harris, 3 of his own. 2-point game early. Boston College down by 2 here in the early going. The Eagles are 3-3 on the season. They've had double-digit leads in 5 of their first 6 games this year, but are 2-3 in those games. So Jim Christian, first-year head coach, he's got a different style, different mindset that he's trying to get these guys on the same page with, and we've spent some time with him this week. He likes what he's seen so far from this Boston College team, even though the record's not where he wants it to be.
Yeah, and he felt he spent so much time on the defensive end that they didn't focus as much on offense. That was an area Boston College struggled in last year, defense and also rebounding. They've tightened that up, and he felt his offense would catch up to what his defense has done.
His offense so far is 3 of 4 from the field, with 3 assists on those 3 field goals. And there will be turnover number 3 for the Eagles. Dunn. Back outside to Hinton. Shut off by Batten. Dunn. Back for Harris. Guarded by Carney. That's going to be well off the mark and head out of bounds. It'll be BC basketball. So Eagles get a stop this trip, and they have a chance to tie it or take the lead with a 3. First, the substitution, Ben Bentil coming in. Sorry, Hawk.
On that last possession right there, Providence was trying to isolate Tyler Harris against Carney. They felt they had a mismatch right there on that last defensive possession. Carney did an excellent job holding his ground, forcing Harris into a difficult fadeaway jumper.
Batten gets rolled over. Dunn is the one who went down. Dunn has been playing with an injured ankle. McGarity turns. Can't get it to go, and it's into the hands of Jalen Lindsey. Dunn injured his ankle in that thrilling win against Notre Dame. Did not play against Yale. Certainly wasn't at 100% when Providence took on Kentucky down at Rupp Arena. Another defensive rebound for the Eagles, and Hamlin. Little hesitation to Owens. Skip to Batten. Batten to the basket.
Batten continues to play well for Boston College, coming off that last game, 17 points, as you talked about. But I've liked his patience. That time he didn't settle for a contested 3, head fake, and got the ball to the basket.
Dunn gets it back. That one won't go down. And McGarity has the rebound. Boston College doing a good job on the glass, keeping those second chance opportunities away from Providence. Hamlin, good look for Carney, who will go to the line. Well, Jim Christian has to like what he sees so far from this Boston College team on both ends of the court here, tied at 10 with Providence.
And speaking with him prior to the game, he felt Olivier Hamlin had his best game as a point guard against Marist. Now, he didn't score a lot of points, but he had 9 assists. And on that last play right there, that's what I think makes him a great player, making other guys around him better. Drew the defense and then set his teammate up for a layup.
It's funny because Hamlin, we know he went for 41 in the ACC tournament as a freshman. He's the top returning scorer in the ACC from a year ago, but how has his role evolved here with this BC team under a new head coach?
And we talked about that. He wants him to be more of a point guard. He wants him to get other guys involved. We know he can score a lot of points, but I think that last game we saw how Jim Christian wants him to play. Setting other guys up. Batten and also Brown had good game from the perimeter, and I think that's how he wants to play with these guys.
Eagles struggling from the free throw line here in the early going. A couple of misses for John Kane Carney. 10-10 our score. Real good crowd filling in here. A lot of Providence fans and BC fans. Students have turned out here on a Friday night. Not quite finals time yet, so they're a little loose and relaxed. Cartwright broken up by McGarity. And the jump hook won't go down, and it's batted out. Here's a second chance for Cartwright. Good adjustment, but won't finish. Now Hanlon. Cartwright shadows him. Brown back into the game. That's well off the mark. And lost out of bounds. It'll still be Boston College basketball. Aaron Brown struggled against Dayton. He and Hanlon were combined 0 for 14 in that game that wrapped up their trip to Puerto Rico. Brown was a little bit better against Marist, 3 of 6, trying to find his stroke here in the first half.
Boston College not a very deep team, and obviously that was in a tournament. They played 3 games, 4 days. I think that was fatigue, that Dayton game.
Patrick Heckman back into the game for the Eagles along with Dennis Clifford. And a turnover. Harris fouled by Heckman. Or no, it'll be Owens who gets called for the foul. First personal on Owens. That's team foul number 3 on BC, matching Providence's 3 team fouls. And that will send the junior from Dix Hills, New York, to the free throw line. In his second year with the Friars after 1 season at North Carolina State. Had a great first year with Providence. That team wasn't very deep. 6-man rotation by the end for Ed Cooley, but he got the most out of that group, winning the Big East Championship and moving on to the NCAA tournament. Chris Dunn back into the game as Lindsay checks out.
And Harris had a great offseason as well. His brother Tobias, an NBA player, had a chance to work with him, and I think he's set for a breakout year. Has NBA length, shoots the ball well from the perimeter, and very active on defense.
DeRosa back into the game as well for Providence. Friars have a 2-point lead, approaching 12 minutes to play in the first half. Last year's game opened the season down at the Dunk, and it was an overtime victory for Providence, 82-78. Been a tight one here from the start so far. That's a walk, another turnover, number 4 for the Eagles.
Eric, that's been a problem for Boston College early in the season. They came into this game 71 assists to 93 turnovers. That number has got to change for Boston College, in particular when they're giving up fast break opportunities to the opponent.
Bento tries to take it on Heckman, and Brown with the rebound. Brown kicked it away. Another turnover for the Eagles. Hawk just talked about it. It's something, it's been an issue, and they pay for it as Dunn finishes the break. He has 4.
Well, Eric, on that last play, Brown, there's really nowhere to go. It's a 1-on-4 situation. He's a veteran guy. He's got to pull the ball back out and get a higher percentage shot.
Ball batted around again. Owens finds Heckman, looks for contact. Clifford's got it, and he's got 2. First points for the redshirt junior from Bridgewater, Mass. BC has played 6 games this year. He has scored exactly 6 in each of those 6 games.
That's pretty consistent, and that's what they need from him. They really need him to rebound the ball, be a presence in the center, take up space.
Cartwright is left open. It's been a struggle for him outside the 3-point line, and he's still looking to make his first. 0 for 16 from outside the arc so far this year. Providence has had success on the run, turning Boston College turnovers into points. That's what Chris Dunn did. Friars are on top by 2. Welcome back to the 109th meeting all time between Providence and Boston College. Providence with 59 wins to 49 for BC in the all-time series. As we take you into the Friar huddle. So far, 5 turnovers for Boston College, 2 for Providence. The turnovers hurt PC at Kentucky. They turned the ball over 18 times. That led to 21 points for the Wildcats. Hasn't really built up that much here for Boston College, but they are turning the ball over, and that's going to be an issue throughout this game that Providence will cash in on.
Yeah, and obviously Kentucky, completely different team than Boston College.
Just a little bit.
A little bit more length, and obviously Chris Dunn, 10 turnovers in that game. But right now, Boston College, I think it's impacted them more as we see a little backdoor cut.
Heckman comes in with a blocked shot. Olivier Hanlon trying to find his shot. That looked good from the release, didn't it? 8 points now for Olivier Hanlon. Hanlon and Dimitri Batten are a combined 5 for 5. The rest of the team 1 for 5, and the Eagles are on top by 1.
And Hanlon, too good of a shooter to be shooting below 20% from the three-point line as he was coming into this game. I expect that number to keep going up.
DeRozier having a lot of success. 7 points to lead Providence in scoring, and the Friars are back in front by 1 midway through the first half. Clifford hands it off to Hanlon. And DeRozier is going to get called for the foul.
Hanlon does a great job of drawing fouls. Eric, last season, he took over 228 free throws. Most guys don't do that in 4 years. He took 220 free throws in 1 season. Excellent job getting to the free throw line.
Led BC in scoring, in minutes, in steals, and shot 81% from the free throw line to lead the team in that category. Hanlon off to Batten. Batten, Heckman's got a wide open look. Bentil off to Dunn. Dunn, nice little hesitation. So smooth, and the finish with the left hand.
We're seeing 2 great point guards match up today. Dunn, Olivier Hanlon. Beautiful coast-to-coast move that time by Chris Dunn.
This Providence team, you'll remember Bryce Cotton was everything for them as Hanlon finds Brown. Knocks down the 3. Providence didn't have Dunn last year. Underwent season-ending shoulder surgery. Played just 4 games. They lose Cotton and they gain Dunn. And you get an idea of what they gained.
I'll tell you what, these 2 guys are going back and forth. Olivier Hanlon, that last possession, can't tell you how beautiful that penetrate kick was. Chris Dunn came right back at him. Step back jumper in your face.
Junior Lombala on now. Henton couldn't get it to go. Batted out. Oh, hard collision there between Dunn and Batten. They hit hard. Again, Dunn's got an ankle injury. He's going to come out of the game. Says he needs to come out. Watch this collision here. Ooh, to the chin.
And in this day and age, obviously, anytime there's contact above the shoulder area, you got to be concerned about concussions. Well, obviously, we're going to talk about Lonnie Jackson and also Eddie Odio, who's out for BC with a concussion. But that's a big blow to Providence if Chris Dunn's not able to go in this game.
Well, he's moving right back to the empty seat by the coaching staff. So that gives you an indication that he will want to get back in there quickly, but we'll keep an eye on him. 8:19 to go in the first half. 4 team fouls on each squad. That's the second personal foul on Clifford. He'll have to go to the bench, and John Kane Carney comes back in. Dante Henton's been kept in check so far. Harris, well short. Rebound to Alex Dragovich, senior, just into the game for Boston College. Played a season-high 14 minutes against Marist on Monday. Trying to get Hanlon free here, and then an illegal screen is called on Will McGarity. That'll bring us to our 8-minute timeout with the Friars on top by 2, but for the moment without Chris Dunn, who took this hard shot and took himself out of the game. We'll keep an eye on him and see if he's able to check in when we come back. Providence on top of the Eagles by 2 here in the first half. BC shooting 58% from the field, 5 assists on 7 field goals.
And they're moving the ball well, and this is what Jim Christian wants to see. Olivier Hanlon draws so much attention right here. This is just a beautiful basketball play. He draws 4 defenders. That's a wide open kick out to Brown, who knocked it down. And speaking with Jim Christian, he felt, look, early in the season, they were shooting below 20% from the three-point line, but they were getting good looks. They're continuing to get good looks. The exception now is they're knocking them down, and that's what they need to continue to do in order to have success.
8 points, 2 assists for Hanlon, 3 of 3 shooting. Dunn is still on the bench for the Friars. Henton has not scored. He is 0 for 2 from the floor. Now Henton's on the score sheet. Had a feeling coming out of that timeout that Providence would figure out how to get their top player involved. Dunn will come in next dead ball. Been a close one right from the start here. This 4-point advantage, the largest of the game. Hanlon passed up a shot. Brown made something out of nothing. Looked like that was unraveling quickly, but he did well to finish. He has 5.
Great offense again by Boston College. They got Providence spread out. They're being unselfish, Boston College. And ones, and that time Brown, nice drive to the hole.
Cartwright back to LaDante Henton. A little too strong. Dragovic for Brown. Brown finds McGarity. McGarity tries to work on DeRozier. Nothing happening there. Taken away by the Friars. And Cooley almost out to midcourt to get a play in it. Turns out it's going to be Cartwright who tries it from outside. DeRozier bats it out. 2-on-2 the other way with Brown and Hanlon. And Hanlon can't finish. Second time works though. He's in the double figures now with 10.
Ed Cooley is livid at the referees for the non-call. He was out on the court pleading his case, trying to figure out why a foul was not called.
Yelling, "What was that? What was that?" as he stormed onto the court.
And right here, he wanted a charge right there. No call, and he felt his guy was in position. I think that's a good no call by the referees. They've been letting them play throughout in this first half.
Well, Mamba was there, took the contact, but they played on, and Hanlon was able to finish. Boston College has played a pretty tough schedule. Games against Dayton and West Virginia. They beat New Mexico and Puerto Rico, and now taking on a Providence team. It's going to be very much in the mix in the Big East. 7 ties, 6 lead changes so far, even at 22. Dunn is into the game for the Friars. Guarded by Hanlon. Dunn to the basket. Count it, and the foul.
Well, Eric, we talked about this point guard matchup. 2 guys that really have their sights set on the NBA next level. This is just a big boy move right here by Chris Dunn. I really like his length and athleticism. Very quick first step for Chris Dunn.
You had a chance to see that Notre Dame game. You got a real good example of how he can control the show, get everyone involved, and he can still find a way to get his points when needed. He's got 10, misses the free throw. 10 for Hanlon, 10 for Dunn. Dimitri Batten back into the game for the Eagles. To McGarity. McGarity, good feed to Heckman for 2. Heckman looked like he was hit, but they're letting him play, as you mentioned, Huck.
Eric, we're seeing some really good ball movement by Boston College. The ball swinging left or right. They got Providence chasing, and then they're getting high percentage looks.
Cartwright. Hinton, open look. Hanlon has the rebound for BC inside of 5 minutes to go now. First half, tied at 24. McGarity was fouled by LaDante Hinton. That'll be the first personal foul on the senior from Michigan and the 5th team foul. Boston College basketball on the baseline with 4:40 to go here in the opening half. DeRozier goes to the bench. Chukwu back on for the Friars. McGarity will try a 3. Easy rebound for Dunn. Dunn lobs it to the 7'2" center who finishes. First point for the freshman from Fairfield Prep. And the Friars are back in front.
Great court vision again by Chris Dunn. That's a nice lob pass high up over the defense.
Hanlon, 2 more. Olivier Hanlon having a very strong first half after a balanced performance against Marist with the 9 points and the 9 assists in 35 minutes. Scoring a little bit more tonight, but still getting his teammates involved when he's not taking the shot.
You're right. He's playing a complete game, and you're going to see Batten right here trying to shoot the gap. But outstanding performance early on by both point guards, Chris Dunn and Olivier Hanlon for Boston College.
12 points for Hanlon, 10 for Dunn. We're even at 26 in the first. College continues to shoot lights out here on their home floor. 61% from the field, even at 26 with Providence, and Olivier Hanlon 5 for 5 from the field so far, Malcolm Huckabee.
Well, he knows this is a big game. All eyes are on him and Chris Dunn. Thus far, both have performed and lived up to the billing. Olivier Hanlon showing off the body control, great movement without the ball right there on a little wheel cut. And then this is the area where I know the number will go up. He came into this game shooting 19% from the three-point line. That number will go up. Olivier Hanlon starting off hot for Boston College in the first half.
And Chris Dunn hanging right with them. 5 of 6 from the field, 10 points, 4 assists, 1 turnover for Dunn. 12 points, 2 assists, 2 turnovers for Hanlon. Dunn left the game briefly here in the first half. Hanlon has, by my count, not left the floor so far. He's averaging almost 36 minutes a game, so we don't expect to see him on that bench too often, and if it is, it won't be for too long. Hinton with the rebound.
Well, Eric, right now, Boston College goes to a 1-2-2 matchup zone and trying to force Providence to be a perimeter shooting team. Right now, they came in shooting 34% from the three-point line.
They try the lob over the zone. Chukwu couldn't get it. Another offensive rebound. Great save by Batten to Hanlon. And it's a 2-on-1 developing. Chris Dunn's called for the foul. I think Hanlon and Ed Cooley are talking to each other here.
Yeah, and that's the first time I've seen that. Ed Cooley and Olivier Hanlon jarring with each other afterwards. Let's see what happened.
It was Hanlon and Cooley who were talking.
And right there, clearly a foul.
Cooley was saying it wasn't a foul, it wasn't a foul. I think Hanlon disagreed. And Ed's a competitor. He got a little hot, and Hanlon was giving it right back.
But you never want to see that, a coach speaking to an opposing player. Obviously, players, it gets heated, but you never want to see that as a on either side. So certainly something we'll have to watch as this game goes along.
I think they're calling something here for Dunn, and Hanlon gets screened, knocked down, and Dunn can't knock it down. Hanlon to the left hand. He's fired up. I know the Providence head coach is fired up as well, but the guy on the court with the ball in his hand is doing something about it.
And as a player, sometimes that fires you up as we take a look at Dante Hinton out of control.
Largest lead for the Eagles. Heckman, Owens, open three. This crowd just ready to make some noise here, but they're going to stifle it for a little while. Henton, three-pointer. Big-time answer from LaDontae Henton. He has 5. And the game is even at 29 with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
And that's why Ed Cooley calls him a leader. He knew his team needed a bucket. He stepped up and knocked down a shot for his team.
Timeout called by Boston College. As Jim Christian will huddle his guys up. Christian had 6 20-win seasons in 6 years at Kent State. Then he went on and coached at TCU for 4 years before moving on to Ohio, which was his last stop before coming to Boston College. He has Rhode Island ties. Played a couple of years at URI. Class of '88s. Got Big East experience as well, assistant at Pitt under Ralph Willard in the late 90s, so he knows all about this Big East thing that you've been telling me about, even though it doesn't really exist here tonight, but taking you back to those good old days.
And right here, we're going to take a look at LaDontae Henton trailing the break. That's something he does really good. He doesn't sprint down first guy. He trails the break, and because he's a matchup nightmare, a lot of times bigs are on him, he's able to get threes in transition.
Hanlon for McGarity. Garrity trying to work on DeRozier. Another turnover. DeRozier's been a difference maker. He has 7 points. When he's in the game, it's been tough for Boston College to get anything going around the rim, it seems. Now he's trying to clear out room for Henton. Nothing goes. Hanlon accelerates on Lindsay. Finishes in the foul. 17 first half points for Olivier Hanlon and a chance to add to it.
And Eric, this is the reason why he's going to contend for Player of the Year in the ACC. Change of direction. Too tough to handle. Right here, little quick first step hesitation. Olivier Hanlon with the finish, and he's leaned out over the summer. And not that he was ever in bad shape, but he's gotten even better shape. That's one of the things Jim Christian talks about, his physical conditioning. He's able to blow past guys with his first step acceleration.
Hanlon putting on a first half show. 2 games ago, he scored 10 points against State, and he was 0 for 9 from outside the three-point line. But last game and this game, attacking the basket, getting teammates involved, and his BC Eagles are on top by 3. Now Dunn. Oh, great look inside. Dunn is answering Hanlon play for play. DeRozier now with 9.
Eric, if you want to teach point guards how to run this show, high school kids, run reel of this first half. Chris Dunn, Olivier Hanlon, showing them how it's done from the point guard position.
Heckman, final minute of play, first half. 1-point lead for BC. Hanlon's feeling it. Not this time, but a long rebound comes to Heckman. Shot clock is off. Heckman finds McGarity. Now the crowd's making a little noise here at Connie Forum. The Eagles are on top by 3. Final trip down the court here for the Friars of the first half. DeRozier for 3. Wow. Great half of basketball.
Well, both teams, Eric, playing at a high level on the offensive end. Back and forth, pick and roll basketball, and we got outstanding point guard play from both teams.
Boston College and Providence even at 34 here at halftime. Chris Dunn finding DeRozier on the inside. He finished the half on the outside to tie the game at 34 here at Chestnut Hill. Welcome back to the ACC on ESPN. Tonight coming to you from Connie Forum on the campus of Boston College. Good crowd here on a Friday night at BC, and they've been treated to a pretty good game. 34-34 our score at halftime. Boston College shooting 58% from the field for Jim Christian. Olivier Hanlon, the only Eagle in double figures, but he had 18 first-half points on 7 of 8 shooting, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Carson DeRozier and Chris Dunn in double figures for Providence. For DeRozier, it's a new Providence high with 12. He had gone for 10 against Kentucky last game. So DeRozier playing well in the first half. His career best, by the way, when he was playing with Wake Forest, came against Boston College, went for 19 points. So the big man, the senior from Windham, New Hampshire, in his second year with Providence, after 2 with Wake Forest, having more success against BC. Had a little bit of everything in this half. Great guard play. DeRozier playing well. We saw the best player for BC tell the head coach for Providence that it was a foul, and the head coach disagreed. It wasn't anything ugly at all, but it was just obviously a little trash talk.
Well, exactly what we would expect in this game, Boston College versus Providence. I played against Providence for 4 years when I was here at Boston College. We expected it to be physical, and obviously I'm not surprised by anything in these type of matchups. The big number, Eric, that I want to touch on, and you touched on a little bit, is LaDontae Hinton, 5 points in that first half. We didn't expect that coming into this game. Let's see if BC can continue that defensive performance on him in the second half.
Ben Bentil getting a start here in the second half for Providence. And they try to feed it right away to DeRozier. And a foul called on Boston College. And that should be the 3rd personal foul on Dennis Clifford. That is number 3 on Clifford.
And Eric, that's on the guards. They got to check that cutter. When Dennis Clifford gets screened, they got to help him when DeRozier is cutting across the lane. That time there was no help. They didn't slow his cut down, and Clifford had to pick up a foul.
How about this lineup with Bentil starting instead of Cartwright here in the second half? A little bit of a bigger look for Providence. DeRozier. Hanlon looking at Brown the whole way. Brown looking for a call. Instead, he'll just have to settle for the field goal. 7 points now for Aaron Brown. Harris scored 5 in the first half. Had to change his shot. Heckman and Batten teaming up defensively.
The referees have been letting them play. Very physical. We'll see a foul right here, but even in that first half, there were a lot of drives we saw where there was a lot of contact. The referees are letting them play. And the thing I like about it, Eric, they've been being consistent, on both sides.
DeRozier picks up his 2nd personal foul. He'll stay in the game. Clifford staying in the game with his 3 personals. Boston College got good minutes in the first half from Will McGarity, 14. Lazy turnover there for the Eagles, and Dunn will make them pay. 12 points now for Chris Dunn.
Boston College had 8 turnovers in that first half, and they were fortunate where Providence only converted for 6 points. Cannot have careless turnovers like that, though, that lead to easy transition buckets if you're Boston College.
Batten with 5 first-half points coming off a 17-point effort. Can't get the 3, and DeRozier has a rebound. Harris. Good hustle play by Bentil, but throws it back for Hanlon. Hanlon to Brown for 3. 10 points now for Aaron Brown. 3-point lead for Boston College. 2 minutes in.
Eric, Olivier Hanlon is playing some great basketball. That's a beautiful, unselfish play off of a turnover. Didn't force his shot. Set up his teammate for a wide-open 3.
DeRozier trying to find Bentil, and Heckman gets called for the foul. That's the first personal on Patrick Heckman. Clifford will go to the bench now with the 3 fouls as McGarity comes in. McGarity's line in the first half, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block in his 14 minutes. Cartwright is in for Providence as Tyler Harris heads to the bench. Dunn. Pleasure to watch him play. Looked like he was going left, setting everybody up. It looked like to go right. He's got 14.
He's got great length, great body control, very long for a point guard. And you see right there on that play, he's able to finish in the lane high up over defenders.
Looks like he's had a few days to get that ankle right, showing no signs like he did against Kentucky of that sprained ankle. Friars down by 1 with the basketball. Bentil will try a 3. Ball comes to Batten. 3-on-2 the other way for the Eagles. Batten will go to the line. Should be the second personal foul on Chris Dunn.
Many people may look at that last shot by Ben Bentil as a bad shot, but he came into this game shooting 42% from the three-point line. So you look at his big body, he looks like a defensive lineman, but he's got soft touch. He's shown the ability to knock down those three-point shots.
Free throw shooting an issue here for the Eagles. They are now 3 of 9 from the stripe here in this game. Came in shooting 71% on the season.
Boston College shows a little full court, soft pressure, and now back to man-to-man.
Dunn greeted by McGarity. Gets the roll. 16 now for Chris Dunn. Catching up to the 18 for Olivier Hanlon, even at 40. Hanlon, the floater won't go. McGarity keeping it alive. Second chance here is Brown. McGarity again has it. His hard work will get him a spot on the line.
Well, you talked about McGarity's stat line in that first half. He's been very active now, although he didn't score a lot of points in that first half. I felt he made some nice plays on that last possession right there, keeping the play alive, giving your team a second chance opportunity.
3 fouls now on Carson DeRocher as McGarity now with 3. That will send the 7-footer to the bench for Providence. He's played well here tonight, but will sit with the 3 fouls. As you take a look at Will McGarity, put on about 15 pounds since the start of last year. Averaged a little better than 2 points a game last year and 10 minutes a game, but those minutes are up this year. They are up in this game. Those minutes will keep going up if he keeps playing this way. He puts the Eagles on top by 2. Just about 4 minutes into the second half. Not a sellout here at Connie Forum, but a big crowd. Been getting louder as this game has gone on. Dunn defended by Hanlon. McGarity came out to help defensively, and we'll go the other way. Boston College is on top by 2. It's the 4th turnover for the Friars. Chris Dunn with 16 points, trying to keep the Friars close in this one. To Connie Forum here on the campus of Boston College. 42-40, BC on top. The game was even at 34 at halftime, with BC shooting 58%. How do you see this one unfolding as we go forward here, Hut?
It's just a tough one to call. I mean, it's pretty even. You look at the numbers. Obviously, they were tied at half. Both teams playing at a high level. Point guards, I think the number we got to watch. LaDontae Hinton, 5 points. We weren't expecting that coming into this game. Patrick Heckman has done an outstanding job defending him.
Hinton has not attempted a shot here in the second half. 5 points, 1 rebound for the Providence scoring leader. 21 points a game. That's number 1 in the Big East. The was held in check by Kentucky. That will happen. 3 points, 3 rebounds. Now some pressure from Providence as they try to speed the game up a little bit. Garland Owens in trouble in the backcourt. Now up to Aaron Brown. Brown ducks under. Good job by BC. It was a little sketchy there for a moment, but they break the press and get a layup out of it. 12 now for Brown.
Boston College very fortunate not to have a turnover that time in the backcourt, as you said, and then they were able to capitalize.
Eagles on top by 4. This is their largest lead of the night. Hinton, 2 for 10 from the floor. 1 for 4 outside the three-point line.
And everything is contested. You will live with him knocking down contested deep threes. Right now, Patrick Heckman doing a good job getting his hand up on every LaDante Hinton shot.
Heckman played well in the last game against Marist, had 8 points and 7 rebounds, but you notice that he was more aggressive, and a three-pointer knocked down. And a timeout called by Providence. Hanlon, his first points of the second half. He's over 20. And the Eagles are on top by 7. 14:47 to go in the second half. Hanlon and the Eagles in front. Providence College Friars got off to a 6-0 start this year, got into the top 25 in the coaches poll, first time there since the end of 2004. Gutted out a win against Notre Dame, 75-74. They beat Florida State. They've played some big games. They've won some big games. They've got a tough test here on the road at BC here on a Friday night.
Boston College, they are giving them all they can handle, executing on offense. I go back to that number. LaDante Hinton, their leader, averaging 21 points coming into this game. He's got 5 right now. Boston College has done an outstanding job on defense against LaDante Hinton.
2 in double figures for BC. Brown has 12, 7 coming in the second half, and Hanlon with 21, 2 shy of a season high. Scored 23 against West Virginia. Dunn. Great change at the basket. He's got 18.
Ed Cooley screaming at the refs for a foul, but they've been consistent. There's been a lot of contacts on both ends, and they've been letting them play.
Garland Owens. Dunn, an outstanding defender. Hanlon, a great defender. They've been matched up here tonight. Heckman can't get the 3, and DeRocher into the game with the 3 fouls, has the rebound. DeRocher. Hinton back for Cartwright. Shot clock at 10. It's Chris Dunn time. He'll give it up to Cartwright. Cartwright, the floater. Rebound off to Brown as Hanlon brings it up. Hanlon will work some clock, wait for Brown. Hanlon couldn't get it. McGarity got a hand on it, diving for the loose ball in front of the BC bench. Tried to get a timeout. Did he get it? He did. Jim Christian came into this program, and they keep track of what they call identity plays. I think this may count for 2.
And Eric, at the end of the game, all these little hustle plays add up, and normally the team that has the most of those plays wins the games. 50-50 balls, loose balls. Boston College has been able to come up with the majority of those in this game.
They keep track of those identity plays on an identity board, so Will McGarity has got a couple of check marks on there here tonight. McGarity with some junior national team experience growing up in Sweden. On a big stage here tonight. Big crowd here at Boston College against the PC Friars. And it's a 5-point game. Ted Bancroft coming into the game for the Friars. Grad student from Marion, Mass. Did not play against Kentucky. This will be his 6th appearance this season. There is Bancroft, number 22. Hinton to the bench. Frustrating night for the senior. Garland Owens defended by Bancroft. Now Heckman, the feed to McGarity. Six points now for Will McGarity. Back to a 7-point lead for Boston College. They try the back door, but Hanlon's there for it. Fifth turnover for the Friars. Hanlon drops it to McGarity again. Last touched by Providence, BC basketball. Dimitri Batten into the game. Dennis Clifford comes in. Hanlon will get a rest, as will McGarity, but we're approaching the 12-minute media timeout here, so I don't think those two will be on the bench very long. They'll get a little blow here around the timeout.
I think you're absolutely correct. We will not see Olivier Hanlon on the bench for long, and I think this is a luxury that Jim Christian has now, where he's able to get him some rest. He leads the ACC in minutes played, close to 37 minutes a game.
Top 10 in the ACC in scoring and assists and in steals and in minutes. The only player in the ACC in the top 10 in those four categories. Batten on the pull-up. Playing with a lot of confidence, was inserted into the starting lineup Monday against Marist when Eddie Odio was knocked from the starting lineup because of a concussion. He responded on Monday, 6 of 7 from the field for 17 points, playing with confidence here tonight as well.
And Eric, sometimes all it takes is one good game for you to get your confidence going. I know as a former player, sometimes when you're struggling, you need to have an outbreak game, and that's what Batten had. He's continuing his fine play for Boston College.
Bancroft, back outside, DeRocher. Another big three from Carson DeRocher. He has 15 points. That will quiet the crowd and bring it down to a 6-point game.
Well, that's why I think he has a chance to play at least at a minimum overseas. So maybe teams are going to give him a look, because when you're a 7-footer and have the range that he has.
Clifford can't get the little jump hook to go, and it's grabbed by LaDante Hinton, who's back into the game. Well, an opportunity here for Providence with Hanlon on the bench, getting a quick rest. Providence has a three-pointer, and they've got the basketball here. That three brought it down to a 6-point game. Ten to shoot. DeRocher trying to work on Clifford. Heckman knocked it away. Hinton got bumped. And a traveling violation. Not much of a protest on that one from Ed Cooley. That will get us to our 12-minute timeout. It comes with 10:38 to go in the second half. And the Eagles on top of the Friars by 6. Boston College Eagles trying to go above the 500 mark. They are 3-3 coming into this whiteout game here at Connie Forum. Fans have responded, turning out in big numbers, and the team has responded on top by 6 midway through the second half, and BC looking pretty good defensively.
And that's what it's all about for Boston College in this game. LaDante Hinton came into this game averaging 21 points a game. Patrick Heckman in particular has done an outstanding job just making it difficult for him, keeping a body in front of him, and then contesting every shot. It's been a frustrating night for LaDante Hinton on offense.
Hinton 2 of 10 from the floor, 1 of 4 from outside the three-point line. 5 points, came in averaging 21 points per game. Patrick Heckman doing a good job. He'll get a rest here. Hanlon is back into the game. He's on the floor with Brown, Batten, Clifford, John Kane Carney into the game for BC as well. Hanlon, right to work. DeRocher pulled it down. Hanlon back behind the play. Numbers here for Dunn, and he's fouled.
Well, these two are going at it. Olivier Hanlon, Chris Dunn, the two guys we talked about at the tip, have their eyes on playing at the next level in the NBA, and Chris Dunn is so tough in the open court. off of a great defensive play against Olivier Hanlon.
Dunn and Batten with a little exchange. Batten played 3 years at Old Dominion, finishing his college career here at Boston College. He was the Monarchs' #2 scorer each of the last 2 seasons, coming off a Boston College high of 17.
Well, that's the one area where Dunn struggles. Came into this game shooting 60% from the free throw line.
Boston College on top, 51-45. 10 minutes to go, second half. Hanlon. Clifford wants it on the inside. Knocked away. Dunn has it for Providence. Dunn with Batten back. Hard foul.
And they are jarring, and I remember my playing days being a part of many battles like this against Providence, and Batten was not going to give up an uncontested layup or dunk on that play.
Well, we've got one little Providence huddle on the left, one on the right. Ed Cooley wants all 5 together. Now he's got them all together. And Carl Hess is in the huddle as well, so there's 6 in there. If you add the official who's wearing the black and white. You play the game for 94 feet, but in these New England battles, and you go back to your Big East days, it goes beyond 94 feet a lot of the time.
Absolutely. You're going to see a good split pit by Dunn, and then I think a good recovery by Batten. That's just good heads-up play by Batten, not giving up an uncontested dunk, put Dunn on the free throw line and make him shoot 2 free throws.
And you played the game, Malcolm. You played in this kind of rivalry game. You saw Dunn and Batten talking a little bit, bumping each other earlier. Batten wasn't going to let anything go easy, right?
Well, I remember Michael Smith climbing up my back as I tried to block him out. And it's going to be heated. It's going to be physical. And this is an important game for both teams. I would expect nothing less than what we're seeing right now.
That little bit of a roar was from the Providence fans. They travel well, and they've made the short trip on 95 here to Chestnut Hill. Ed Cooley was pumping them up a little bit as well. It's down to a 4-point game.
All right, here, this is great defense by Chris Dunn. Out to the races. He's going up for a dunk, thinks he's got an uncontested dunk, and Batten put him on the free throw line. And, he got a lot of arm. Certainly it was a foul. And, Eric, that's just a good hard foul by Batten, not giving up an uncontested dunk or layup.
Out of this timeout, it'll be Boston College basketball. The great matchup between Dunn and Hanlon. Dunn now has 20. Hanlon with 21. Hanlon's turn with 9:41 to go.
Both players, in particular Hanlon and Dunn, playing at a high level. Really fun to watch.
Hanlon, illegal screen called on Carney. That'll be the 5th team foul on the Eagles. 2nd personal on Carney. He gets pulled out of the game quickly as Heckman is back in. Hanlon, Heckman, Brown, Clifford, Batten, the 5 on the floor right now for Boston College. Jalen Lindsey has come in for Providence. He's out there with DeRocher, Henton, Dunn, and Harris, and a foul on the Eagles.
And Eric, back to that last offensive foul. That was all set up by Chris Dunn's quickness. He's able to fight over screens. He's so long, and at that time, you just don't even have time to set a screen on him because he moves so quick, so fluently.
Dunn determined to get it into Harris. Boston College there to meet him, and the Eagles take over. Hanlon knocked away again. Dunn getting a hand on it. Dunn to the basket, fouled by Heckman.
And Eric, that's how you play the screen and roll. And that's the reason why Chris Dunn is going to have a chance to play at the next level. Pick and roll defense, you know you're going to see that at the next level. He's so long, so good playing pick and roll defense, and then he's off to the races. I really like how this young man plays on the defensive end.
Dunn misses the first. Struggled against Kentucky. 3 points, 3 assists, 10 turnovers. 1 of 7 from the field coming off that ankle injury. Did not practice leading up to Kentucky. Did not play in the game prior to Kentucky against Yale. Looked pretty good here today. 21 for Dunn. 3-point game, less than 9 to go. Batten. Tough shot. But there's Clifford to clean it up. 4 points for Dennis Clifford. 5-point lead for BC, and it's kicked. Kickball. Providence basketball.
Right here, good curl cut by Batten. Drew 3 defenders, got it up to the rim, and Dennis Clifford finished it off.
Dunn to Harris. Providence will bring it out. 8.5 to play. Dunn now defended by Brown. DeRocher, little jump hook, won't go. Batten rips away the rebound. Boston College doing a good job on the glass here tonight.
All hands on deck that time. Batten, two guard for Boston College, coming up with a big defensive rebound.
Inside of 8 to play. Clifford. DeRocher knocked it away. And then a foul is called with 7:44 to go here in the second half. Dunn gets called for the foul. That's his 3rd personal foul. And the 4th team foul on the Friars. 5-point game. Five-point Boston College lead. The stars of the show, Olivier Hanlon and Chris Dunn. Dunn, 9 of 11 from the field, but 3 of 7 from the free throw line. He has 21 points, 6 assists, 1 turnover, 3 steals. For Hanlon, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, 2 steals. He's 8 of 12 from the field. You've enjoyed watching this matchup right from the very start here tonight.
And they both have been playing at a high level, as I talked about, making their teammates better, and then when they've had to score, they've been able to hit some difficult shots. Outstanding point guard play for both players.
How about the work on the glass for Boston College, Hawk? They are a plus 12 in rebounding margin here in this game here tonight.
I mean, Eric, we did games last year at Boston College. We never called that number. It was normally they were minus 12, minus 10. They've done an outstanding job defending, getting stops, and then finish the play off by rebounding.
Rebounding has improved under Jim Christian. They are plus 3 in rebounding margin this season coming in. A turnover out of the timeout, and Dunn accelerates, drops, Henton blocked from behind. Providence basketball.
Well, one thing we haven't talked about, Boston College off the turnovers, they've been sprinting back and then limiting Providence's fast break points.
I think Dimitri Batten is enjoying his first taste of the Boston College-Providence College matchup. That's the 5th block tonight for Boston College as a team as Batten gets it. He's been doing his fair share of talking. We saw talking between the Providence College head coach and Boston College's best player in the first half. As we approach 7 minutes to play here in the second half of a 5-point game. Dunn for 3. Batted back out, but there's Batten. And Dunn's going to pick up his 4th personal foul.
And that's really not a good play by Chris Dunn. It's a gamble, and Ed Cooley is pointing to his head right now saying, you got to think, we need you on the court. That's not a good gamble in that situation right there with 3 fouls.
Doesn't make many mistakes, but that was one right there as he heads to the bench. There's Hanlon, defended by Lindsay. Hanlon. Batten, you know he wants it. Clifford batted into the hands of Lindsay. Knocked away from Cartwright. Keeps it in play. Tyler Harris, his first points in the second half. 7 now for the game. 3-point game.
Eric, I think this is a crucial possession for Boston College. Last couple of trips, they have not had good looks.
See if they can get Hanlon going with Dunn out of the game. Lindsay, the freshman there defensively. A little miscommunication. Brown caught it. Brown finds Clifford. They got a good look out of that trip. Clifford has 6. Familiar spot for him. Now with 6 minutes to play, it's back to a 5-point game. Hinton. Been that kind of night for LaDante Hinton. Gets a good look, can't make it. Stuck at 5 here tonight. Now 2 of 11 from the floor. Hanlon gets the Clifford screen. And DeRocher is going to get called for his 4th personal foul. 4 on DeRocher, 4 on Dunn.
Ed Cooley not happy with that call at all. Felt DeRocher held his ground and thought Olivier Hanlon was a person who initiated the contact.
Free throw shooting has been a struggle for these two teams here tonight. Boston College is 6 of 13 from the line.
And right here, let's see, and no, he definitely had his arm down before he tried to get him up, so I think the referee's got it right on that one, and Olivier Hanlon's so good at drawing fouls.
DeRocher to the bench. Bento comes in for Providence. Clifford sits down for Boston College as McGarity comes back in. Hinton wants it. Heckman fell down, so Hinton took advantage, and the timeout's called by Providence. First points of the second half for LaDante Hinton. Came in averaging 21 a game. He has 7 now tonight.
Well, you knew it's crunch time. Ed Cooley called him a leader. He leads their team in points, 21 points per game. You knew with Chris Dunn on the bench, his team needed a bucket. He was going to be the guy that Providence went to. On that possession right there, he was able to deliver for him. And then Eric, on the other side, I think with Chris Dunn, Ed Cooley's got to make a decision. 5:04 left in this second half. You're down 4. How long do you leave him on the bench? I don't think he's going to be on there longer than a minute, if not already checked into the game.
Dunn will head to the bench. For how long, we'll see. Sat down at the 7:09 mark, so he's been sitting for 2 minutes and 5 seconds. 17 fouls on Boston College, 6 on Providence. Break out the other way. Heckman will go to the free throw line.
That time, Boston College was able to throw over the pressure of Providence and had a 2-on-1 situation. Nice little give and go by Heckman and McGarity.
Patrick Heckman will go to the free throw line, 10 of 12 from the stripe this season. Senior from Germany, posted his career high of 32 as a freshman. Hasn't scored here today, but you pointed out his defensive work tonight against LaDante Hinton. Jim Christian wants his team to dig in defensively as Cartwright kicks it into the corner. Three-pointer in and out. Brown got one hand on it. McGarrity's on the floor again. And Brown comes away for the Eagles. Brown saw an opening and took it. 14 for Aaron Brown. Back to an 8-point lead. With Chris Dunn watching from the bench. You see him getting up. He'll check in next dead ball. And that's off. DeRocher will come in as well. The two Friars with 4 fouls coming in next dead ball. The deficit for Providence is now 8. Approaching 4 to play. Here's Hanlon. Hanlon, Heckman, corner 3. Rebound for Harris.
Well, you can't ask for a better look on that offensive possession if you're Boston College. Patrick Heckman wide open in the corner for a 3.
Harris lost the handle. Hanlon comes away. 3-on-1. Hanlon, hard foul as Cartwright hustled back, and Hanlon, a photographer down. Hanlon still down. You could hear that thud. You could also feel that thud as Hanlon went down. They're going to go to the monitor here, see what this call should be.
Right now, I'd like to see the replay, but whether or not he hit his head, and he's a little wobbly right now, and that's not a good sign if you're Boston College. Now, right here, and it's where he got underneath his legs. And that's where the problem is. It wasn't on the slap down. It's just he came underneath it and took Olivier Hanlon's legs out. And really didn't get much of his arm. And then that's where the issue is. Really couldn't break his fall. And yes, he landed on his head. That is a tough blow.
The officials are looking at the monitor right now. We have our 4-minute media timeout. We'll step aside, come back with what they say. 8-point game here at Boston College. College 8-point game. We've had an eye on Olivier Hanlon on the Boston College bench. They've been working on his lower right leg, it would appear. Malcolm pointed out, looked like he came down hard on his head, but he is limping as we watch him come out onto the floor here. 22 points for Hanlon. You got an explanation from our officials. Carl Hess told you.
He told me it is a common foul. They obviously went to the monitor, took a look at it, and determined that it was just a common foul. 2 shots, and we're going to take a look at it again. And, you know, I think realistically, it wasn't like he intentionally, it didn't look intentional like he was trying to take his legs out. I thought he felt that he was going to get more of his arm. He didn't get his arm, and did not stop his motion, and that caused him to run into Hanlon and take out his legs.
Well, Hanlon showing no ill effects, knocks down a couple of free throws. He now has 24 points. BC is 11 of 18 from the free throw line. Hanlon to the bench. Dunn into the game and loses the handle, knocked away. Dunn and DeRocher checking in. It's a double-digit lead for Boston College, their largest lead of the night. They're up by 10. With Hanlon getting worked on the bench. Brown looks to get DeRocher fouled out of the game. They play on. Dunn for Lindsay. Entry pass and a foul on Owens. That'll be team foul number 8 on the Eagles as Hanlon comes back in. You can see he's limping a little bit here. We'll have to see how they manage it from the bench. It'll be tough to keep him on the bench here. The game he's had here tonight, 24 points. 8 of 12 from the field, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. But right now it's LaDante Henton shooting 1-1. Clifford with the rebound. The Friars 6 of 11 from the free throw line. Brown drops it to Clifford. Blocked out of bounds. Boston College basketball with 2:38 to go.
But I like what Boston College is doing. They're continuing to attack. Now in that situation right there, that's a good little pass by Brown to Clifford. He's just got to finish that one, but you only want to take layups in this situation.
Turnover. 14th turnover now for BC. PC almost gave it back. But now they'll set things up. 2.5 to play. BC fans try to get back into this one. Their team is up by 10. Hinton takes it at Clifford and gets the roll. Timeout. Friars. That will leave them with 1. Providence coming in with a 6-1 record. Boston College 3-3. It's another double-digit advantage for BC. Can they hold on to this one? This is the 6th time this year they've had a double-digit lead at one point in the game. They've gone 2-3 this year in those games where they've had a double-digit lead. But even though this is a team that has experience, 2 graduate students, 6 seniors, 3 juniors, they're still learning, and they're still figuring these things out, Huck.
And you think about it, Brown and also Batten were not on this team last year. So yes, they have a lot of experience, but they have not played together with this unit. And then obviously Dennis Clifford was out last year, really injured, did not play a lot of minutes. And so they're learning, they're gelling, and Jim Christian likes where his team is at right now.
Ekman is gone to the bench here. Got to tape him up, maybe a little blood there. Junior Lumumba has come on for Providence. Full court pressure here. Into the hands of Hanlon. Providence will keep the pressure on. Ekman to Clifford. Into the hands of Olivier Hanlon. Boston College will work a little clock now with 2 minutes to go. Hanlon trying to sell a foul. Batten playing with a lot of confidence. Strong take, but he couldn't finish. Dunn now defended by Batten. Well, Dante Hinton walks. Ninth turnover for the Friars.
And it's been that type of night for LaDante Hinton.
Ekman will bring it across for Brown. Now to Hanlon. Providence just D'ing up here, and now a timeout is called by Christian. 15 on the shot clock, 1:16 on the game clock. The game was even at 34 at halftime. Providence saw BC shoot 58% from the field in that first half to hang tight in the game. The story has been done, and Hanlon done with 21 points. Providence saw BC shoot 58% from the field in that first half to hang tight in the game. The story has been done, and Hanlon done with 21 points. Picked up his 4th foul with 7:09 to go here in the second half. DeRocher with 15 points. He picked up his 4th foul with 5:23 to go in the second half. Right now, DeRocher on the bench.
Eric, the other number that I'm looking at for Boston College is second chance points. Boston College, 12, Providence 3. They've done a great job. And then you're going to take a look at LaDante Hinton. Came into this game averaging 21 points per game. Boston College, in particular, Patrick Heckman has done a fantastic job bothering him, making it difficult for him to score.
Take to the basket by Brown. Big hoop there from Aaron Brown. 16 now for Brown. Henton quickly up with a three. It's no good. Now Boston College can't get it up court before Providence fouls with 1:02 to go in a 10-point game. And the BC fans, many getting to their feet right now.
Since Batten has been inserted into the starting lineup, he has produced for Boston College and Coach Jim Christian, shooting the ball well, and I think his ball handling, in particular against a team like Providence, was a difference in this game for Boston College.
Batten perfect on the first. 19 fouls on the Friars. Batten double figures down with 10. A 12-point lead for the Eagles. They continue to stretch it out here in the second half. The game was tied at halftime, but BC kept adding to it. Providence not done yet, though. Lindsey's first points of the night. It's a three from the corner to bring it to a 9-point game. That is the final timeout for the Friars. We talked a couple of times tonight, Malcolm Huckerby, about double-digit leads getting away for Boston College sometime this year, but give them credit. Any time that came in the second half for them to flinch, they punch back.
Yeah, and that's something that Coach Christian talked about today, is finishing out games, playing a full 40 minutes. I felt Boston College at times, obviously in their losses, lost their concentration. Go back to that UMass game in the second half, turnovers, which led to transition opportunities. Tonight, I think all around they played well, but I think the big number for me, and I keep going back to it, is their overall defense, in particular Patrick Heckman. On Levante Hinton, that was a question mark coming into this game, how they're going to match up against him.
The last time Providence led was 26-24 at the 4:27 mark of the first half. Ed Cooley's team has been playing catch-up throughout the second half, and BC has been a step or two ahead, doing a great job on the glass, a plus 14 in rebounding margin. You talked about the second half, second chance points in the second half. 9-point game with 50 seconds to go. Into Hanlon, who is fouled. Hanlon, will remind you, an 81% free throw shooter last year. That number has been at 63% this season. 6 of 8 from the stripe here tonight. Dunn and DeRocher will come in as Ed Cooley plays the sub game to protect them with the 4 fouls.
And I think the emergence of Batten and also Brown shooting the ball better really has made it easier for Olivier Hanlon. We talked about it coming into this. He's going to be the focus every time, every team he plays against. How do we stop Olivier Hanlon? But now, with Batten and also Brown making shots, driving the ball to the hole, I think now it opens it up, takes some pressure off Olivier Hanlon and allows him to do his thing. And he certainly performed tonight for Boston College.
But he misses both free throws. Not over yet. Here is Dunn into the game with DeRocher. Lindsey, deep three. Brown tipped it, didn't control it, but Heckman has it out to Batten. Batten is in attack mode right here, but took a look at the bench, and I don't think you want to cross Jim Christian and go against his wishes.
That's certainly a veteran move right there. He thought about it and going to the hole, but certainly in this situation, 32 seconds left, you're up 66-57. You do not want to take or force a shot.
Batten will shoot a couple. Boston College has had a chance to put this one away at the free throw line. They are 1 for their last 4. Batting now with 11. Dunn taken away by Heckman. Heckman can finish if he wants. Hinton gives. And the flagrant one will be called here. And that should do it here tonight.
Hinton basically was saying, you are not going to end this game on a dunk. I'm not giving up on the play and giving up an uncontested dunk. Now, to his credit, he wrapped him up. So he didn't allow him to fall. He grabbed him. Obviously, it was a hard foul. And sometimes you see guys let the player go and fall to the ground. That time he wrapped him up and broke his fall.
2 free throws in the ball for the Eagles. Heckman now with 6 points. Hanlon leading the way with 24, and it'll be Eagles basketball. And Howell had Cooley play it down by 12. And Hinton will give another foul. Goes over pretty well with the BC fans.
Well, this game was physical all from the tip, and as I said, we expected nothing less with these two teams playing, and the history and the importance of this game. I think this is an important game, obviously, for Boston College and Providence coming off that Kentucky loss. So
Olivier Hanlon is done. That's a hug-worthy performance, no question about it, for Hanlon tonight. He ends up with 24 points, 8 of 12 shooting, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. Dunn will drop into 3. He'll match Hanlon's 24 with 24 of his own. Brown will dribble across half court, and that will do it. It's early in his Boston College career, but that's a signature win for Jim Christian, knocking off a very good Providence team as the Eagles win it 69-60 the final.
well, it was a great performance by Boston College. Defensively, I felt, was the key to this game. Holding LaDontae Hinton, 21 points a game, did not break double digits. Boston College, outstanding job on him.
$69-60 is the final.